Brian Williams. Brian Williams retired from the MSNBC News. And why was he at MSNBC News? Because he got fired from the NBC News because he was doing what they call stolen valor. He was pretending he was in war, and he wasn't, right? He's pretending he got shot at, all this stuff. It's called stolen valor. You can't do it. It wasn't like he put on a uniform and pretended. That's really worse. But that would have been funny had he did. Like, no, I was actually a captain. So network, what does it say? Network says actions of TV news anchor were wrong and completely inappropriate, and he is being taken off the air without pay. Now, the thing I remember about Brian Regan, I keep saying Brian Regan, about Brian Williams, is when we bombed Syria. This was his reporting.
I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons, and they are beautiful pictures.
Wait a minute, what? He said, I'm guided? Is that how he started that?
He said, I'm guided by the beauty of their weapons. Here we go. Hang on.
I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons, and they are beautiful pictures of fearsome armaments making what is for them a brief flight over to this airfield. What did they hit?
Before it blows the shit out of some people and their legs go flying in different directions. It is beautiful. The power.
It's real beautiful on the front end of the.
Yes. Well, so I used to have a joke. I go, that the difference between Al Jazeera and CNN is CNN shows the bombs taking off and Al Jazeera shows you when they land. So that's who Brian Williams really is. He's just a mouthpiece for capitalism, military industrial, whoever is paying him. He's just a mouthpiece for it, and he always will be. He's retiring, and he gives his big speech. He's not quitting, believe me. You're going to see him in like February or March hosting his own talk show. Who knows? Something's going on. He's not walking away from fucking show business, believe me. Because that's what this is. He's not a newsman. He's in show business. That's what that is. You don't get the news from MSNBC. You get propaganda from a guy who's in show business. Okay, so here we go. Here's what he said.
After 28 years of peacock logos on much of what I own, it is my choice now to jump without a net into...
The peacock logo is on everything I own. I even branded it onto my scrotum like a Nexium cult. NBC didn't ask me to do it. They didn't have to. Jesus. All right, here we go.
It is my choice now to jump without a net into the great unknown, as I do for the first time in my 62 years. My biggest worry is for my country. The truth is, I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I'm an institutionalist.
What?
He's not. I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I'm an institutionalist. What? What do you believe in?
I believe in this place, and
you believe in this place. You believe in NBC. That's where you're not a liberal or a conservative. You worry for your country, but you believe in a corporation built on war profits and gouging people.
I salute the logo of the peacock, of the mighty peacock.
The mighty peacock. This is
the beauty of our weapons guides me.
That's right. The beauty. That's right. I bet those weapons were made by General Electric that used to own NBC. It's that which is why they were pro-Iraq war, because they were owned by war profiteers, and they fired Phil Donahue because he was against the war. He believes in that place. The place that fired Ashley Banfield, the place that fired Phil Donahue, the place that fired Jesse Ventura because they had a counter narrative to fucking imperialism and war, illegal wars. They fired them. That's the place he believes in.
As I do for the first time in my 62 years.
For the first time in my 62 years, I'm not going to be on television, and I'll be a non-entity. I'm jumping without a net. From now on, I'll be telling just my own lies, as opposed to a mix of my controller's lies and my own. First time in 62 years. God bless him. I'm an institutionalist, a human bank, a zero, a cipher, a muppet, a tool, a construct, an empty suit, a sausage wallet, the man who wasn't there, the middle car in the human centipede, Rosemary from Rosemary's Baby if Rosemary was a liar named Brian. Obviously, you're an institution. Let's get it.
I believe in this place, and in my love of country, I yield to no one.
What the F? Dude, why do you want to draw more attention to the fact that you got caught doing stolen valor for your country? I yield to no one in my love of country. Are you running for mayor? Are you a fucking corporate-funded talking head? What are you doing? Are you running for? Look at all the flags behind him. What are you running for?
I think he means by his country, Peacock Plus, the new streaming service.
Because he's an institutionalist. Because he doesn't believe in the country. He believes in the institution.
On the edge of town has spread to the main roads and highways and neighborhoods. It's now at the local bar.
So do you hear this shit? I'm going to read you the darkness on the edge of town is now everywhere. The darkness that used to be on the edge of town is now everywhere. The darkness.
That sounds like an old racist senator or something.
Yes, that does what it sounds like. You know, if Brian wasn't an institutionalist, I would think he was referring to the human rights violations Americans are committing in its war on terror, coming home and being perpetrated on its own citizens. That's what I thought. He would be talking about the darkness on the edge of town, about how what we do to people in other countries, we're eventually going to do to ourselves, and we're doing it now. We're in a surveillance state right now. Right? We're the world's largest penal colony, right? Isn't that amazing? In the land of the free and the home of the brave. Is that what he means? That's not what he means. That's not what he means. What he means is your neighbor is someone you should be suspicious of, just like during the Red Scare. You never know who's a commie, and there's a red under every bed and around every corner, and that's what he's fucking doing. Be afraid of your neighbor, Brian Williams says. It's everywhere. Everywhere. You can't trust anybody.
This place, and in my love of country, I yield to no one.
Shut up.
The darkness on the edge of town has spread to the main roads and highways and neighborhoods. It's now at the local bar and the bowling alley, at the school board and the grocery store. And it must be acknowledged and answered for. Grown men and women who swore an oath to our Constitution.
What? It has to be acknowledged and answered for.
At the bowling alley?
What?
The bowling alley's being radicalized.
This is fear-mongering 101. He does it like he's the Mr. Concerned Adult when he's anything but that. Brian Williams is a liar for money. Anybody who pays him, he'll say whatever they tell him to. But he's really worried about our country because now there's a darkness that's around every corner. It's in the bowling alleys.
Grown men and women who swore an oath to our Constitution, elected by their constituents, possessing the kinds of college degrees I could only dream of, have decided to join the mob and become something they are not.
Do you hear what he's doing? So his retirement speech is all about dividing the country. It's all about how half the country are all fucking maniacs. They went to college. They're smarter than me, he's saying. By the way, Brian Williams never finished college. And why he said I could only dream about is because he didn't have the internal fortitude to finish a 4-year fucking degree program. Because he's a lazy fucking clout-chasing narcissist. That's why he ends up as an entertainer instead of a newsman.
He sounds like Steve Carell from Anchorman.
Yes.
Brick. He's Brick.
Yes.
Rick Tamland.
These people with college degrees who are elected to represent their constituents to fight the system are actually starting to pretend to side with their constituents against the system, and this has to be answered for. That's what he's afraid of. The plebes are getting control of things. They're mucking up the gears. They voted for Trump. They mucked up the gears.
Hoping we somehow forget who they were. They've decided to burn it all down with us inside. That should scare you to no end.
This is hilarious. Did anyone proofread this? That should scare you to no end. And I'm going to stop that rumor that the news media is here to scaremonger you. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say? I said it should scare you to know. You should be scared all the time. That's all they have left. If all they've ever had is fear, because they're not going to give you the news and information about the oligarchs who pay them, who are screwing you that you actually need. They're not going to tell you the information you actually need because the people who are screwing you are the ones paying them. That's why you're never going to, and that's all this is amazing. That's all he can do is divide and scare the shit out of you. Listen to this scare. I want to play this again.
Something they are not, while hoping we somehow forget who they were. They've decided to burn it all down with us in.
Aren't we supposed to forget who you were, Brian?
Yeah.
Isn't that why you had to go on a suspension? Because you wanted us to forget who you were. His fucking speech to retire is all about hating half the country.
Yes.
But before I go,
Before I go, I just want to let you know I hate half the country. And you should too.
Forever.
Forever. And they should have to answer for shit at the bowling alley.
Don't let it go for 1 second.
This is unbelievable.
They've decided to burn it all down with us inside. That should scare you to no end as much as it scares an aging volunteer fireman. To my
What?
coworker.
What?
So I guess he's a volunteer fireman.
Does that mean him?
Yes. I guess that's him. So he was a war hero and he's a fireman. I'm
Wow.
sniffing some more stolen valor.
I heard he was a dinosaur ninja too. He did a lot of really cool stuff.
You know, if Brian Williams ever actually fought a fire, he would never stop talking about it. Ever. So I don't think he ever actually fought a fire.
Here's my love and thanks. And I say again, everyone I've worked with has made me better at what I do. To my family,
I want to thank the sponsors and certainly the Matrix in which I live. Here we go.
love and thanks doesn't begin to cover it, but now I have the time to better express it. My friends know who they are. No one's been blessed with better friends. To the guests on this broadcast, as you heard the nice man say a few minutes ago, it's always been about you. Otherwise, I'd be staring into the camera for an hour, 5 nights a week, and nobody wants to see that.
That's actually what you do.
Yes.
That would be better.
What is he talking about? That's what you do. You stare into a camera for an hour, 5 nights a week, and you talk. There's no audience there. It's a camera. Just like me right now. I'm talking into a camera. There might be millions of people who are going to watch this, but they're not here. I'm staring into a camera. That might have been the craziest thing he said the whole thing. Well, if it wasn't for them, I would have been staring into a camera for an hour, 5 nights a week, and nobody wants that.
You are the 11th hour and will continue to be the 11th hour. This is where I thank you, however, for being so great, for explaining these last 5 years. As a proud New Jersey native,
He explained to you these last 5 years. You can turn to me, I'll explain to you what these last 5 years are about. It's about that jerk Trump lying, always puffing himself up. I would never do that. I would never tell a lie to puff myself up because I'm Brian Williams. And I take a back seat to no one in my love of country.
I would also never go against an institution as a proud institutionalist.
I would never go against an institution.
this is where I get to say regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention.
Well, I could mention a few of them. Let's mention a few of them. I'll mention a few of them. How about, getting caught lying about your war stories? How about that? I bet you regret that. How about watching your only daughter's? Oh, no, I can't. I don't want to. His daughter did simulate analingus on HBO, right? That started the whole thing.
He probably regretted seeing it. He probably watched
regretted
it to support
seeing it.
and was like, oh, well, can't unsee that.
I wanted to be supportive of my daughter's career, but I never will be able to unsee that. Much the way I could never unsteal that valor. But like I said, not worth mentioning. None of this is worth mentioning.
What a ride it's been.
What a ride it's been. He said, you know who else said what a ride it's been? Every midwit I went to high school with under their yearbook picture. That's what they said. What a ride it's been. Shouldn't his quote be, what a long fake ride on a made-up Apache dodging imaginary rockets it's been? That's what he should have said. Yes, how else would a liar with a middle to low intellect like Brian get to meet presidents? Oh, here we go. I'm jumping ahead with the joke. Hold on.
How else was a kid like me going to meet presidents and kings and the occasional rock star?
Yes. How else would a liar with a middle to low intellect like Brian Williams get to meet presidents and rock stars than by relating Satan's many-headed penis? I'm sorry.
Filleting.
I'm filleting. I misread the joke. God damn it. I fucked it up. I'm worse than Brian Williams. He's definitely a better news anchor than I am. He knows how to do it. He knows how to broadcast. He knows how to lean in. He leans forward, and he's got that suit, that $5,000 suit. Boy, those are nice.
These lovely testimonials that I can never truly repay make me hyper aware that it has been and remains a wonderful life. It's as if I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning in Bedford Falls.
No, it's like you're going to wake up tomorrow and realize my whole life is just one of my war stories. A lie. Instead, he's going to wake up in America 2021 where almost no one believes his made-up bullshit anymore. What a weird way to wake up.
Reality is, though, I will wake up tomorrow in the America of the year 2021, a nation unrecognizable to those who came before us and fought to protect it.
He's still fucking doing this. Unrecognizable. How is it unrecognizable? It looks exactly the same.
To those who came before us and fought to protect it, which is what you must do now. My colleagues,
You have to
will
fight to
take it from
protect our
here.
country.
I
Our
will
institution
probably
is what he
find it
means.
impossible.
I mean, imagine if a Fox News host was telling that to people. You got to fight. You have to fight these fuckers. You have to fight to protect this country. Fight. That's incendiary language for a newsman to use, especially when he's encouraging you to hate half the country.
Every weeknight for decades now, I've said some version of the same thing.
But his corporate overlords would let him.
I don't even know, how do you make fun of that? Yeah, I guess it's up to a new fake tan husk with a great hairline to carry the torch. I guess. Okay, here.
Thank you for being here with us. Us, meaning the people who produce this broadcast for you.
Us, meaning the Matrix, and you, meaning the cattle we feed on for energy for the machine. Okay.
And you, well, without you, there is no us. I'll show myself out until we meet again. That is our broadcast for this Thursday night. Thank you for being here with us. And for all my colleagues at the network.
Don't forget, keep hating and fearing half the country. We're going to make those fuckers answer for this shit someday. We're all going to have this comeuppance that they've got coming. Never going to happen, Brian, but you keep doing it.
I hope we catch those guys that shot those rockets at his helicopter at least.
Yeah, hopefully at least we can catch those guys. Jesus Christ.
It sounds like a satirical version of a farewell speech.
It does.
I've said the same thing every night for the last 20 years. Well, okay.
For decades, I've said the same thing for the last. That's it.
Never a new thought. Then one day something went wrong with my program, and now I'm to be deleted.